Mind podcast, where we flip the effed up mind. My name is Anton, and I'm your host. We have someone special on the podcast, someone who has gone through so many different challenges in business and just mentally and psychologically. But he did not let that defeat him. He was able to flip that effing mind and create greatness. David, thank you for coming on. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great. Thank you for doing this.
Of course, man. How do you like Houston?
I love Houston. I spent a lot of time down here. My father, number one, lived here. Was business partners with a guy named Mac Hike in his real estate side, the dealership guy. And then Warren Moon was my business partner for 20 years. So Houston icon and legend. I love Houston and all the people in it.
Yeah, it's awesome. The weather's a little bipolar sometimes, right?
That's all right.
But what can we do, right? When you lost everything financially, what was the truth, the hardest emotional truth that you had to face about yourself?
Yeah, I think that I was accountable, and I looked at accountability in a different way than most people. I think it's easy to say I was responsible, and what am I supposed to learn from it? But I took it to two different levels. One, what did I do to attract this to myself? So in an energetic frequency perspective, what were the things I surrounded myself with that caused this unfortunate circumstance, which turned out to be a great promotion, protection, love, and perfection of my life? But what did I do to, number one, be responsible, two, to attract it, and what am I supposed to learn from it? And the most interesting one, which I continue to learn from, is what did I do to participate in that perception? So I do a lot of study of time and relativity and the meaning of the mistake, the meaning of the setback, the failure, the defining moment, the historical relevance of that. And I think it, in all respects, is the most important thing that we do, because if we don't align the meaning of the past with where we want to be, we'll limit our self-image, and you never will overachieve your own self-image. So many people are limiting their future because they haven't given the meaning or the lesson of the past.
Why do you think a lot of individuals today don't take accountability for their actions or just in general, and they blame every single thing that comes their way instead of actually enjoying those obstacles?
Well, look, it's human nature. 98% of the people on earth, as Napoleon Hill wrote about, not only in Think and Grow Rich, but Outwitting the Devil, 98% of the people are drifters. Camus wrote about it in The Stranger, The Myth of Sisyphus. Most people roll a boulder to the top of the hill every day just to have it roll back down. So if you're a drifter, you don't have a definiteness of purpose. If your purpose isn't greater than your pain, then you, of course, will live what my mom used to call below the line: blame, shame, and justification. And I think 98% of the people, and human nature, it's a lot easier just to blame other people, live in shame, and justify why we're not where we want to be or better.
I agree 100%. It's a strength, not a weakness, right?
For sure. The key to life is that evidence will never today indicate where you're going to be. It's either non-existent or it's contrary to where you want to be. So if you're not using gratitude, forgiveness, and accountability to find the light, the love, and the lesson, to forgive yourself for learning, right? I had a saying on stage today: the longer you go, the less you know.
Yeah.
And that's because the evidence is normally not indicative of where you're going to be. And it's the people that ignore the evidence and continue to double down on the behaviors. I call it devotional behaviors, which is a discipline in divine direction. It's different than just being disciplined.
Yeah. During your lowest seasons, did you ever experience intrusive thoughts that kept you from replaying, or would keep you from moving forward?
I still do every day.
Yeah.
So the difference is I have a minutes and moments strategy. So when these interfering thoughts, words, beliefs, feelings come about, usually in a natural reaction to fear, uncertainty. So things are uncertain. We are built with an ego that responds immediately with this need to be right, offended, separate, inferior, superior, anxious, frustrated, angry, guilty, or resentful, even worried. And so instead of accelerating into that below the line behavior, if I simply stop, breathe, drop, remind, recollect, and remember with that unbelievable God, source, whatever you have, and then roll into my devotion, my divine direction, I'm shortening the distance of resistance that most people cause in their life between where they are today and where they want to be in the future. Let's take a quick break real quick. I'm just going to do this 1 minute. That's for Junior Achievement, a charity. So let me just hit this. Thanks for the break. So this is Junior Achievement. I'm the Chief Chancellor with Jack Canfield, Bob Proctor, all these. Hi, I'm live here at Aspire Business Tour with an incredible entrepreneur and an incredible business, the FD, and we're had to stop in for my favorite time of the week, the JA Worldwide broadcast. What's going on, Sarah? Oh, I'm honored to be an alumni. One of the things that have changed my life more than anything is Junior Achievement, not just as a child, but as an alumni. And I do everything I can to encourage people to join. That's why, by the way, Junior Achievement was nominated for the 3rd year for a Nobel Peace Prize as the 7th largest NGO in the world, making a huge impact. I always say that entrepreneurs, like the one next to me, this guy, they're going to change the world. We're going to save the world with entrepreneurs fixing everything that we create. And we are just blessed to have Junior Achievement supporting so many entrepreneurs. Yep, let's get the question. We'll include it in this interview. That's one of my favorite questions because time is my love language. And I think so many of us don't use time in the way that it's given to us. See, I believe that we're given 24 hours a day, every day of our life, except for the last day. In that 24 hours, it's full of activity. And people don't realize that doom scrolling is an activity, sleep is an activity, creating interference in our lives are activities. And so I'm very cognizant of being active in the devotional direction of where I want to be. And so I'm very intentional about my activities with a definiteness of purpose. So I'm looking to do, say, think, feel, and believe everything I desire each and every day. And I use 3 lenses. One, a lens of productivity, to be as productive as possible, to help other people, to provide as much value. 2, to be accessible, not only accessible to others as you know I am, but also access what I want, to learn how to receive. Because when I receive, I'm allowing somebody else to be able and capable of helping me. And that's what Junior Achievement's about. Allowing other people that have already been there, that paid the dummy tax, dummies like me, to be able and capable of helping you. And when you're able and capable of helping someone else, you're closest to God. You're at your highest self. So productive, accessible, and then finally, as you know, on brand, you have to be grateful. Gratitude's a superpower. You need to find the light, the love, and the lessons in everything. And if you're not utilizing the fastest, easiest, and least expensive way to impact your life, which is to simply say thank you. By the way, it takes 0.1 seconds and it's free. Can you think of anything easier? And everybody agrees it has the most impact. So if you're going to take a lesson for the day from me, please say thank you before you go to bed. Thank you when you wake up. Use intentional behaviors, a definiteness of purpose to utilize the 24 hours a day to be productive, accessible, and gracious. And I certainly am and gracious. And Sarah, I love you, and I appreciate you giving me a minute every week to help support Junior Achievement.
Thank you. The love is mutual. We're very grateful for you and also all the team in the background who you usually don't see. Big shout out to the big team. Good luck with the tour. We're following everyone. Apply for the next season of 2-Minute Drill.
Thank you. This summer, we can't wait. The biggest and best episode with the amazing Junior Achievement episode of 2-Minute Drill.
Thank you, David. Good luck, and I'll see you next week.
See you next week. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Okay. That was awesome, by the way.
Right on.
That's awesome. When your mind spirals into the worst case scenarios, how do you interrupt that cycle?
Well, when you're utilizing what I call non-negotiable behaviors, it's a lot harder to cycle into anything because half of my day is non-negotiable. That means no matter what the circumstances of the day, the weather, the delays, the interest rates, the arguments you have with people, whatever happens, half of my day is certain because I have non-negotiable behavior that's assigned to time. A minimum amount of time on my sleep, on my health, on my family, on my faith, on my finance, on the study of time and the study of relativity, meaning of that time. So by doing so, I'm creating stop gaps in any type of spiraling or accelerating or compounding of negative beliefs, thoughts, words, actions. Any of those things that most people don't get control of is because they don't have non-negotiable behavior. They're just working in a circumstantial life and reacting to the circumstances, and therefore they're aggregating, accelerating, and compounding the negative thoughts, words, belief, which cause the negative spiral that is seriously interfering with people's success.
I think the words that you speak, it's like they say, you speak the words into existence. So if you tell yourself you're a billionaire, you're successful, you're strong, you're healthy, they become reality. But if you keep telling yourself you're not going to get anywhere in life, that's exactly what's going to happen.
No doubt. And that's, I am compared to this is what I want people to think I am. So I am happy, I am healthy, I am wealthy, I am worthy. What am I doing to interfere with it is the main objective of my day. My main focus is I am already, right? I'm part and parcel of something omniscient, all powerful, and all knowing. What am I doing to interfere with that? People say all the time, I'm 58 years old. How do you have so much energy? I'm like, I got the same amount of energy as you do. You just actually could utilize it better because you're stronger, faster, and younger than me. But what you do is wear yourself out because you're interfering with the infinite amount of energy that we all have in this system that we all belong to, where I'm spending most of my day not interfering with the infinite energy that we have.
If there's somebody on the other side of the screen that's struggling mentally, psychologically, and they feel like literally giving up on life, what would you tell them right now?
Well, first, seek professional help. I think too many people try to help people without having the capability of helping them. So if someone's seriously considering taking their own lives, there's so much help out there. But beyond that, small steps, right? If you study different philosophies, religions, spiritualities, everything starts with a single step. And so if you're stepping in the wrong direction towards depression, anxiety, frustration, guilt, resentment, worry, separation, inferiority, stop and start taking one step in the right direction. Take a step towards your potential, not to what other people think, not what you're missing, not what you don't have. This is the problem with most people that are in that direction of diversion where they don't see the glass is half full. You can't tell someone it's that simple just to see the glass half full, but you can help them take the first step and be consistent in that step until they take another step and another step. And pretty soon, the acceleration, the aggregation of those steps compound, and pretty soon that one step becomes a mile becomes 100 miles, 100 miles becomes 1,000 miles, and pretty soon you're where you want to be or better. And it seems always when you're looking back that it happened overnight, even though it looks so far away when you're looking forward.
Do you agree that it's important to embrace your intrusive thoughts? Not to agree with them, but to embrace them.
I think to, one, identify them and then to respond to them in the appropriate manner. So I have a mechanism that I look for clues of intrusive thoughts. I look for patterns of intrusive thoughts so I make better choices. Life, as Jim Quick always says, happens between B and D, birth and death. It's the choices we make. And when we're studying the clues and the patterns of these intrusive thoughts, I call them interfering thoughts because I believe in an omniscient, all-powerful, infinite, abundant system. So if I have, and I'm part of this system, when I'm intruding with the negativity or the interference, there must be this type of stoppage that's necessary. And so I'm always looking for clues. And as you get older, you'll start seeing you're an energetic and genetic inheritance. I have this terrible need that I inherited either genetically or energetically, a need to be offended. I used to be offended by everything. Man, you got to need to be offended. All you got to do is walk outside, and all of a sudden you're interfering with your potential, your higher self. So I work on that, and still today, even though I'm farther along than I ever thought I'd be, I still am working, and it rears its ugly head. Somebody does something, and there it is, the need to be offended or the need to be right. And I just stop and breathe and get back onto my divine direction with devotion.
There's something that I tell a lot of individuals whenever I motivate others. I tell them to, and I know it's controversial, but I do tell them to embrace it and give it a hug with love and care. You don't have to literally agree with the thoughts that are coming into your mind. It's like that unwelcoming guest that comes into your house and speaks. You don't literally have to agree with every single thing that he says. You just have to flip that effing mind and use it as power and strength to create greatness.
Yeah, love knows no grievances. So to hug that negativity is absolutely, I have an exercise I use to shift my energy in my own mind where I picture the negativity and I try to find a light in it. And then I picture that which I love the most that has all the light. And then I put them together until that light is equilibrium. And then I hold that over me until I actually shift my energy. So very similar idea, but love has no grievances, and love will heal everything, including your intrusive thoughts.
I agree 100%. Have you ever had moments where do high achievers struggle more with overthinking because they're wired for control?
So here's what high achievers do, and I get to work with so many billionaires, millionaires, entrepreneurs, celebrities, athletes, and entertainers at the highest level, is they try to out logic and out analyze an energy, an emotion, and they don't equate. You cannot out analyze or out logic energy and motion. That's why I utilize the stop, drop, and roll methodology. So I believe that high performers just mathematically would certainly resist more than people that aren't trying to get. Let me give you an example. If you're locked in a room, but you're not trying to get out, you don't feel stuck.
Yeah.
Right? If you're on the couch and somebody's locked you in the room and you're doom scrolling all day, you don't feel stuck. But if you're an achiever and you're expanding and expanding, you're going to feel stuck a lot of the time. And so you're going to try to overthink it, out logic it, analyze it, because that's a natural thing for humans to do. Yeah. But you cannot overcome that. This is why, like, when you're worried and you tell yourself, let it go, let it go. You wake up in the morning, you have not let it go, because logically you know to let it go, but energetically the energy and motion isn't there. So you have a great solution. I have the stop, drop, and roll, but yours is love has no grievances. So I'm loving on my emotion. Yeah. Right. Even if it's an interfering emotion, you love on it, you shift the energy of it. Then you wake up in the morning healed. You recover while you sleep, you access different information. It's called information for a reason, right? You take inspiration and it's information when you wake up. Only if you put yourself in a position to what? Recover and access information when you sleep. That's why for me, I've had a sleep code for 18 years. I am very intentional, purposeful about my sleep. I think it's the most underrated habit. Most people, think about this. Most people, first of all, everyone has that habit, sleep. Yeah. If you don't sleep, you die. But most people go to bed at night and they wake up more tired than they went to bed. That's most people on earth. How silly is that? That's like all of us going out to eat for 3 hours, let alone 8 hours. Yeah. And at the end of a 3-hour meal, most of us looking at each other going, man, I'm still starving. You would think something was wrong with the meal.
It's crazy because if I take a nap, you're right, I feel a lot. I mean, you feel tired. You don't feel rested. You actually feel like groggy. It's gotten worse.
Yep. And there are methodologies and training to take a certain type of nap, but I feel the same way. Yeah. Like if I'm a person, I'm very, 18 years of doing this, so I wake up at 4 a.m. Pacific time, no matter where I'm at. But every once in a while, I'll have eaten something or energetically something's off, so I wake up early. And instead of going back to sleep, I've been trained to go ahead, wake up, and fight your way to your unwinding routine the next day. So I don't double down on my L's. So when I have a minimum amount of time on sleep, and if I don't get it, I make sure the next day I get it or more. If same thing with my family, I'm with my family every day, no matter what or where I am. I'm with my faith every day. I'm with my health every day. And so, for me, health is really simple too. Billions of dollars are made, as you know, with healthy drinks, et cetera. And this is so important because to me, health is simple. God tells you everything you should be intentional about. One, he says, if you don't breathe, your heart will stop. So I have a breathing coach. Breathing's super important to me because God made it pretty simple. Human experience is with the heart starting. It ends when the heart stops. So my goal is to keep my heart beating in a great way for my entire human experience. So breathing, then what? Drinking. You don't drink, your heart stops. Eating, you don't eat, your heart stops. Sleeping, you don't sleep, your heart stops. And then finally, movement. And so if you're going to be healthy, you spend a minimum of an hour a day on breathing, sleeping separate, 7 hours, but then eating, drinking, and movement.
Well,
One
David,
more question. Okay.
we're good.
We got one more.
One more. Okay. Do you ever feel embarrassed asking for help during your lowest period?
Yes.
Yeah.
I teach people all the time. Most people think the more you give, the more you receive, and it's bullshit. It works with love. It works with kindness. Anything that's infinite, it works automatically. My mom's perfect example of a lot of people that are first responders, our U.S. veterans, our teachers, our moms in general. They give all this love, it comes back automatically. My mom had so much love, 15 grandkids, kindness. You give kindness, it'll come back. But they get confused because money's a man-made construct. And it's the exact same as this chair. The more chairs you give, the more you're going to receive. People get that immediately, like, that's bullshit. If I gave chairs all day, I'm not going to get chairs back. So then why do you think if you give your money away, it's going to automatically come back? But what happens in the context of your question is every text, religious, philosophical, spiritual, theoretical text says the more you give, even of man-made constructs, the more you're given. See, but there's a responsibility and accountability in what we're given because you have to use gratitude to find what you're given. So when I lost everything and my mom told me, oh, you're protected, promoted, loved, and perfected by losing $100 million in my house, my mind's saying, bullshit, I'm being punished.
Yeah.
But she's much wiser than me. And she said, you need to figure out how.
Yeah.
Because you're being given, and here I am 18 years later, and I was given back my health, my wealth, I was given back my marriage, probably my life, because that happened. Now, here's the interesting part, receiving. Because you talked about being embarrassed about asking. Most people don't like to receive. And the reason is they don't realize the giving part, the infinite loop of receiving. When I receive, that means whoever's giving to me is able and capable of helping me, which is when you're closest to God or you're at your highest self. So you're giving someone an opportunity when you're asking or receiving to let them be their higher self, to be closest to God.
Yeah.
So as much as I say this, I still have trouble picking up, letting someone else buy me lunch or a family member buying me dinner. So I'm still fighting my own faith that receiving is actually a form of giving. So to that measure, the best thing I can teach people is 3 words: ask for help. Because not only will you get further, because the fastest way to get to where you want to be is ask for help from someone that's already there, but it will make you able and capable of helping somebody else get to where they want to be, which will allow you to be at your highest self. And it's also the second fastest way to get to where you want to be is help someone else get to where they want to be. If you do both of those things, you'll make a lot of money, help a lot of people, and have a lot of fun.
Have a stronger mind, right?
Got to F up your mind, man. You got to change it, shift
flip it, right?
Flip your mind.
Yes.
And this
yes.
is a delicious drink, by the way.
Well, I wanted to thank you for coming on to the podcast. Thank you for telling your story and telling your experiences. And you guys can do it. Flip that effing mind and create greatness. Thank you.
Thank you.